like as we mentioned earlier, it's $35 more or less, per ounce this morning as we speak. Could it fall? Like, yeah, of course, anything can go down, but is there more upside than there's downside risk to it? I think there is more upside value than there is downside risk. And so, if you've already been stacking, good for you. Don't be afraid to stack some more.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, it's June 5th, 2025. Silver has finally broken $35 an ounce again. And the question is it on its way to all-time records or to all-time disappointments, like we've seen so many times in the past? And with us now is Byron King. You know him well, seasoned geologist, financial analyst, many decades of experience, and you've seen him on the major news networks, all of that. So, Byron, it's great to have you on the show. Silver's surge, it's the highest in over a decade. What factors do you believe are driving the surge, and how long can this go on for?
Well, if you've been stacking silver for a while, you're a very happy person these days. If you have been buying shares in silver mining companies or companies that have a silver stream coming out of what they dig out of the ground, you too are also a very happy person. I mean, things are just roaring in the silver space, as you alluded in your intro. Thank you, Kerry. It's great to be with you. What's driving it is it's the tailwind of the upswing in gold. Of course, gold hit $3,500 earlier. It's well over 3,300 right now. That seems to be a very solid floor for gold. And everybody's been saying, when's silver going to catch up? When's silver going to catch up? Well, I guess we're finding out, when silver is going to catch up. Is it just a monetary thing? No, not really. Silver, used to be monetary in the sense that we had silver quarters and silver dimes and silver dollars and things like that. Not anymore. But it has been overshadowed in recent decades just by, as an industrial metal, Well, the thing is that as industrial metals go, we live in a world with more and more electronics, more and more, say, renewables. I mean, you can't do solar panels without silver. And when I say electronics, I mean, I'm talking everything from the screen that, that the viewers are watching us on to, to your microwave oven, to your refrigerator, to, to what's in your car. There is silver in the electronics there. And then, an entire explosion, if you'll excuse the pun, in global defense spending. Quite a bit of military hardware, including stuff that goes boom and explodes, has a lot of silver in it. I mean, I don't get into the details, but there's a lot of silver inside, say, a cruise missile,
500 ounces of silver, over 500 ounces, yeah. Which means $15,000, $17,500 or more silver that blows up every time.
Every time, so you can mine the explosion site or something. But not to make a joke out of it, but and then other countries in the world are stockpiling like crazy. The Chinese are buying, the Indians are buying. Russia has begun to accumulate silver as part of its own state reserve system, and so there is very, very solid demand. It's not just people going to the coin shop and buying old silver dollars or something. We're talking government, state level demand, central bank level demand, which is what drove gold as well. But now we're starting to see it in silver, and then big, big, big industrial stockpile demand, as well as, you're starting to see just really big money, big institutional money, hedge funds and private equity and, family offices and to big money bags moving into the metal sector in general, but gold and silver in particular. And these aren't just trading in and out. These are positioning, as in they expect something long term. And so, we live in an inflationary world. We live in a world of debt. We live in a world where the future of, the dollar, the euro is problematic. I mean, Japan can't sell its government bonds. The euro is, it's always, it's just, it's the European currency, but it's got huge problems just in terms of, what's there to support the euro in the European economy. I mean, they're short of energy, short of materials. They're, got all sorts of cultural and social problems and a big war raging on the eastern side of the continent. So I mean, there's lots and lots and lots of reasons why silver is moving. And, as far as investors are concerned, it's moving, be there,
I don't care why.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to have justifications, but they don't really matter in the end. Just they go up, they go down, whatever. So looking ahead to the future here, and really gold, it's had an amazing run. I remember just a few short years ago, it was trading, $1,000, $1,100 an ounce forever. Mm-hmm. It almost seemed. And now, finally, it made its move. And silver is always the laggard generally, but then towards the later part of the cycle, it becomes the driver. Mm-hmm. Is that what we're going to see here?
I think we are. I mean, it's, like as we mentioned earlier, it's $35 more or less, per ounce this morning as we speak. Could it fall? Like, yeah, of course, anything can go down, but is there more upside than there's downside risk to it? I think there is more upside value than there is downside risk. And so, if you've already been stacking, good for you. Don't be afraid to stack some more. If you bought some silver shares and you're wondering, should I buy more? Yes, buy some more. If you haven't bought any silver shares, you're a little bit late to the game, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up, but don't sit around too long. Go out there and get some. Get some silver shares because there is a move going on. Some of the, go to the charts and look at some of the silver charts for these different companies in the last, say, month, and they've had extremely solid moves upwards. The charts are beautiful, and we're at the beginning of this. I mean, like I said earlier, the big money is just moving in to get positioned. If you're watching this show, you are special. You are not everybody else out there in market land. If you're watching this show and you're interested in, metals, gold, silver, the hard assets kind of thing, you're in a very, very small niche of investors. And so we're giving you a general sense of information and a general sense of confidence that isn't out there. You don't read articles about silver in the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times business section,
Oh, true. Yeah, I don't remember the last time. I think when they accidentally report it, something happens. Probably there's an incident in a mine. That's when you hear from them. Otherwise, it's the redheaded stepchild of the investment world and the commodities world, too, for that matter. And it's such a small market. If the buying that you're referring to actually materializes, the sky's the limit here.
Yes. And the thing is, it's not just, the silver mining company. Sure, you can go out there and find lots and lots. There are more than a few very solid companies that are focused on silver, names that are not hard to come up with. But a lot of other companies, mine silver as part of everything else. I mean, big companies, BHP and Rio Tinto and, Freeport McMoran. They mine copper, but with the copper, they get silver, they get gold. There are quite a few other, gold companies that produce a heck of a lot of silver as just a byproduct. Copper, I mentioned copper, but, so it ranges all the way from big mining where the silver might be a small component, but it's going to be very sweet. It's going to juice their earnings. Back into sort of the precious metal mining companies. I mean, it's hard to mine gold without getting some silver out of it. And then you get into the dedicated, silver companies, the companies that have the word silver in their name, Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, but, there's, it's really interesting. There's so few silver pure plays around, right?
Right now, just in terms of like where I'm coming from, what I look at and what I write about, I mean, I look at, the small sort of exploration and early development, mid-stage development companies. I spend a lot of time focused on those. I mean, the big guys, the bigger silver guys, Coeur Mining or Hecla, just a couple of names out there, just, very, they're well-known silver producing companies, absolutely, First Majestic, sure. Yeah. Big silver names, but there's a whole slew of others that we look at, kind of, because I expect there's going to be M&A, there's going to be acquisitions, there's going to be a lot of horse trading in there where, a development company will sell off, a silver project to a bigger guy and, take shares, take cash, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's all good. And people who actually mine and produce silver, I mean, when you're selling it for $35 an ounce, it's a lot better for your bottom line than $25 an ounce, So,
because the price went up, but presumably your costs have been pretty fixed, which happens once you have a producing mine, right?
well, yes. I mean, there, labor is going up. Yes. Cost of concrete, cost of steel, that kind of thing. But one of the big components of mining expense right now is energy. Mining is a big user of, say, diesel fuel, for example. And look at the price of oil. It's been low and, kind of in the doldrums lately. So that check that you write to Chevron or to Shell Oil Company or, whoever's supplying your diesel fuel, it's not as big of a check as it used to be or as it could be. And that saves an awful lot of money. And, in the mining industry, if you start to see the price of oil, going up, or if for some reason, it depends where you are, when the price of electricity starts to skyrocket. Okay, well, that could be a problem in terms of just operating costs. But right now, the mining guys are in a very sweet spot. They're the big problem for the explorers and the developers is getting drill rigs out there so that they can, drill all the holes and pull all the cores out and show them on their website. Say, oh, look at that! Look at the wonderful rocks we found. Look at the great mineralization. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And that's the funny thing. Before they're worried about how they're going to pay their bills, and their operating margins are so slim and narrow. And now they've had this huge opposite of compression, expansion of margins. Mm-hmm. And that takes a lot of pressure off. And that's also great for the stocks.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, to the subscribers and the viewers out there who, people who follow you, Kerry, and, for those who read Paradigm Press, which is where I write with Jim Rickards, and, Paradigm Press, paradigmpressgroup.com, we'll plug there if you don't mind. This is some of what we talk about. And in another way, let me just say, I'm going to get this point in for people out there who are maybe new to this, or maybe just kind of getting into it. And just like, what am I getting into here? It's not so much that you have to pick the right stock or the right company. It's always good to pick the right stock that goes up 20x or 30x or something like that. You definitely want to be in the right sector. You want to be where the tide is rising, so to speak. And right now, in hard assets in general, in exotic metals in more general, but it's certainly in silver and gold, platinum. The tide is rising out there, and it's being driven by global events, massive monetary events, geopolitical events, everything else, way beyond our pay grade, way beyond our ability to turn the rudder one way or the other. But you want to be in the right sector, in the right place at the right time, and this is part of it. The precious metals, and we're seeing it reflected in their price.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, nothing surprising here. So one piece of advice, because you've been through more booms and busts than I have,
painfully, yeah,
hard to believe. One piece of advice that you have learned from all these years in the sector that often you don't learn, and you should learn it.
The piece of advice I give to people is, be patient and be ready for a roller coaster ride, because especially in the small caps, these guys go up, they go down, up and down, et cetera. And you will wake up one morning, look at your share price, and you will be immensely frustrated and say, oh, golly, why did I buy this crummy stock? This is terrible. But if you just sort of, if you believe in the company with good assets, good management, or, you're in the right sector at the right time, wait it out. when the big market has a bad day and all the, Nvidia drops or Apple drops or, Tesla drops, and all that kind of market driving stuff happens. Sometimes the price of gold, price of silver, that goes down too. Why is that? Because the gold is less valuable? No, not at all. It's because people are selling their gold or selling their silver because they have to raise quick cash to pay their margin calls. So don't worry about that. If gold, silver drop, if the physical metal price drops, that's just a point to get back in. So look for down days in the market, buy judiciously, use limit orders. Be careful about chasing momentum, but I really believe this is the right time to start to get in there. And if you're new to it, if you're there already, you're in the right place. But if you're new to it, it's not too late. And I truly believe that these are the kind of markets that will help you greatly. You'll look back in a couple of years, and say, oh man, am I glad I got in, back in that, when that first upkick, showed itself on the charts, you'll be happy, and your children will be happy when and your wife will be happy, or your husband will be happy, it'll make a lot of happy people out there.
And I assume in Paradigm Press, you cover these companies, right?
We have, yes, we do. We have, the paid newsletters, the $49 a year guy and the higher cost newsletters, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you become a subscriber to Paradigm Press Group, paradigmpressgroup.com, and just buy the $49 a year newsletter, you'll get a whole lot of, we'll call them free, but it costs us to put them out, but they're free they're just additional things. You get the Morning Root Awakening, where, it was yesterday. Sean Ring went over a whole slew of, silver companies that he owns. He gave you his personal list of what he owns, so, he's got his own skin in the game. This is his son's college fund right there, and, the 5-minute summary in the afternoon, the daily reckoning at the end of the day. So you get a lot of good things for just a, a $49 newsletter, paradigmpressgroup.com. And then, there are other things. I write about all sorts of stuff. I write about energy, and I write about mines and minerals, gold, silver, write about history. And, I cover the defense sector too, just because I'm an old Navy guy, and I like talking about ships on airplanes.
I forgot that you did. And that seems like a really good sector. Now, also, we're not getting into, all the vagaries of the geopolitical situation, but clearly it's big now.
Oh, the aerospace and the defense ETFs, just the ETFs alone have just gone gangbusters, with all the defense spending on, submarine ships, airplanes, electronic equipment, space satellites. You name it. And then the war in Ukraine has taught all sorts of, unfortunate and very scary lessons to the West about, sort of like the new face of war, the issues in the Houthis and the Red Sea, with aircraft carriers dodging missiles, and big, huge article in the Wall Street Journal on that today. Quite a good read. Or even something like the India-Pakistan mini war just a couple of weeks ago, where they were shooting each other's airplanes down. We saw performance from Chinese weapons that was extremely surprising. It was like, whoa, nobody expected the Chinese weapons to be as good as they were, except maybe the Chinese. And the Chinese are smiling from ear to ear right now about, hey, look at what our jets did. Look at what our missiles did. The Indians are like, well, no, you didn't do that. Well, everybody's going to argue about over who did what. And a lot of things are just classified. They're not talking about it. But we live in a world where the defense sector, in addition to gold and silver, I know we started talking about gold and silver, but, the defense sector is also hot in many ways. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, I don't want to get off the topic, but I'm always looking at the sector and wondering about it. And this seems like boom times for it now. Like,
so to speak, boom times. Yeah.
You look at the biggest beneficiaries of the Ukraine war, Ukraine-Russia war. Clearly, it's the military-industrial complex, right?
Yes. Russia has completely militarized its economy in so many ways. And then, the U.S. and Europe, emptied the warehouses to feed into the Ukraine side. A lot of equipment from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s just got put on the planes and the ships and the trucks and sent to the front lines where it all got blown up. And right now it's the great replacement is going on. We're buying new stuff. New and better. New and improved. All that. Don't want to get too cynical about it, but that's part of why why the defense guys are doing really well. Jet engines, airplanes, missiles, or other ordnance. Ships and shipbuilding. I mean, American shipbuilding is in the absolute doldrums. We've deindustrialized the shipbuilding sector, and along comes President Trump, and he's shipbuilding. Well, make all the fun you want about it, but the United States needs a shipbuilding sector, and we need to revitalize it. And again, there's great money to be made investment wise there too. I actually wrote about that. In the last couple of months, I've had a couple articles about shipbuilding and the defense sector, things like that. Again, I know we're getting off the topic of gold and silver.
That's okay.
but it all sort of fits together. The world is a dangerous place, and people are running to security. And what could be more secure than owning gold, like this nice little gold Indian head from the U.S. Mint or what have you.
All right. Well, hey, it was great catching up with you, Byron. We'll have a link in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. We've also got a Substack now, so we just ask you to go there instead of our regular newsletter, which still goes out. Like, how many are in it now? Over 75,000 people get the weekly free newsletter. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less, but a lot of people. And got a question for Byron, myself, just shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. Talk to you soon, Byron. Thanks.
Thanks, Kerry. Thanks you. And good luck to everybody out there with your investing. Be well.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.